Welcome, 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 everyone, to a beautiful Monday. It is a glorious day. Today, deliberately, oh, yes, deliberately do things. Huh, what does that mean? It means when you know what you intend to do, when you know what your will is, your intention, when you know what that is, huh? What do? Well, you conserve your energy. How so? Because you are focused. You see, when we are deliberate about the things that we do, we don't waste time and we don't waste energy. Energy is precious. This is why everybody wants your attention. So when you are deliberate, you are focused, you are clear about what it is you want to accomplish, and you are clear about who you say you are. You are deliberate. Focused intent. Let me look it up so I can tell you the exact definition because it depends on how you say it. You can deliberate, done consciously and intentionally, careful and unhurried. You notice you're not rushing around, right? You're not wasting. Engage, so to deliberate is to engage in long and careful consideration. Why is that important? It brings about clarity. You see, when we muddy the water, yeah, meaning you're not sure of what you want. We call it in Barbados, you're running from pillar to post. You're just back and forth. You're just, ah. And by the time you've finished running back and forth between pillar to post, you are tired. You are exhausted. You notice when someone says, "Oh my God, I'm so tired." Well, that's usually there's a difference between physical tired from the body, mentally tired, but also emotionally spent. Mm, right? Thoughts, words, actions. We want to be deliberate so that we aren't burnt out. You see, sometimes we walk around, we fight so much, and that fight is internal. And if you catch yourself fighting internally, you must stop and ask, huh, oh, why am I fighting? What's the purpose of this? As opposed to just going along with the fight. Be deliberate in your thoughts. I know I've been reading a lot lately. People say, oh, you're not your thoughts. You're the one having them. So you're observing the thought. This is why, if you catch the thought, if you taste that thought, and you recognize that it is, ooh, a little yucky, what are you going to do? You will be deliberate in doing what? Changing it. You say, nah, this will not do, as opposed to just going along with it and not questioning it. You see, this is why we become deliberate in our thoughts, our words, and our actions. If we don't question those thoughts, then we just follow them on autopilot. And when you follow on autopilot, it means you're doing what you've always done without question. And sometimes the things that we do without question on autopilot, they must be questioned. Or else you continue to do the same thing you've always done, thereby getting the same results you've always gotten. So, this is why one must be deliberate, consciously. What does that mean, consciously? You are aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. This is really what consciousness means. You know who you are and you know why you're going to do a thing. And of course, you know how. You know how to create it. You project it outward. Now, the how part of that how that we cannot see, is the part that is hidden. Not hidden because something or someone is being cruel, but just the way when you wrap that seed in the earth or in damp paper towel and you close it over. You see that how part in there when the shoots come out underneath, the little tiny roots come out? You don't see how that happens. Yeah, oh sure you know it breaks through the bottom, you know that. You know it grows down into the dirt, you know that much. But the intricacies of how it happens, you do not know. But the how that you do know is if I plant A, I have to reap A. That's the how that you know. But the inner workings of how belongs to the law. It tells you already, as within, so without. It just doesn't tell you, well, I'll put this one out first and I'll put that one out next. It doesn't tell you that because that's not really necessary for you to know. What you do is pay attention and you watch as things unfold so you know when to take action. I heard someone say, you know, I'm going to have to do a live stream on this. I heard someone say, well, you know, I really love this particular sport and I want to play it, but can I just use my imagination? And I thought to myself, Lord Jesus, give me strength today. Give me strength today. How do we think? You see, this is why that whole interpretation is important. You want to do something, but, and of course I made a comment and I said, well, you do know if you want to play a particular sport and be like that athlete, you're going to have to start to live like an athlete, which means you're going to have to train. Oh, how do you think that athlete rose to the upper echelons of where he or she is? They train on a daily basis. Action is required. You must be deliberate in the actions that you take. You have to be deliberate in the action. Yes, Neville says you will walk across that bridge of incidents. Oh, walk across it how? By taking deliberate action when you see something. Your intuition says, this is what you said you wanted. Here's an opportunity to take advantage of it. Go here, go there, call this person, or answer the phone. You see how action is required. So let's not get it twisted. The law of vibration clearly states that nothing stands still. So that is telling you, well, you can't stand still. You must take action. What kind of action should I take? Well, that all depends on what your goal is. So if you are clear and you are deliberate, not only are you successful, but so many things happen to you along the way. You begin to hone and sharpen your intuition. Why? You see, causation, cause and effect. When you do this particular thing, an effect will happen. Now, is that effect along the lines of what you said you wanted? If it is, well, then you'll know when to act. You'll say, I felt the inclination to do something. See? You are sharpening and honing your intuition. The more deliberate you become, the more deliberate you become. I want us to remember what it means by definition to be deliberate. It is done with marked or full consciousness of the nature and effects. You are intentional. I like Merriam-Webster. Let's see what she says. To think about or discuss issues and decisions carefully. Characterized by or resulting from careful and thorough consideration. You see, one must be deliberate. You must be deliberate. Why? You see, when you are clear about what it is that you say that you want, you are instantly reminded that the minute you have an image of it, it is possible. And because it is possible, you're going to have to pay attention to what's going on around you so you can say, "Oh, well there's step that's B. I should go over there." And you take it. Was that not deliberate? There's a scripture that says, "The steps of a righteous man are ordered by God." Ordered. Not do as I say, not that kind of order. That is a command. But to be ordered means the chaos has been removed. So now you are clear and you are precise in the actions that you take. That is order. Look around you outside and you will see order. It is morning for some of us, it is nighttime or afternoon for some of us. That is order. Day and night is order. Winter, spring, summer, fall, that is order. So you see, when you are deliberate about what you think, what you speak, and the actions that you take, now you begin to create that kind of order in your life. Listen, order brings peace of mind. Order brings ease. Order brings relaxation because it is predictable. There's no, what am I going to do? I'm so confused. No, no. You'll know what to do because you would have set the effect in motion because you were deliberate. You see, sometimes we get caught up in worldly things. We don't get, we should not allow ourselves to become caught up in worldly things. Put them in their rightful place. Food, shelter, clothing. Put them in their rightful place so that they bend to your will as opposed to willing you to behave in a particular way to accomplish them. You see, the law always brings about things that need to be done. It is ordered. And if you follow that order and live according to that order, you will bring about the things that are necessary in your world instead of doing what? Chaotically chasing them. For instance, chasing the bag. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. No, if you are deliberate, if you have clarity, then you call those things that are not as though they were, and they become. They come to you, and you take full advantage of them. And then you'll hear your friends say, "Ah, how'd you get so lucky? Everything just seems to fall into your lap." No, you were deliberate. There's no coincidence. It doesn't just fall into your lap. You were deliberate. You were deliberate. Make it a point to practice being deliberate. What does it mean again? I keep closing that page like I'm crazy. I didn't minimize it. It says to think about or discuss issues and decisions carefully. To think about deliberately and often with formal discussion before reaching a decision. Characterized by or resulting from careful and thorough consideration. To consider something means to think about it. So you see, being deliberate is a must. You conserve so much energy when you are deliberate. Because you're not just spinning your tires. If you've ever experienced a winter and you had to drive on snow, traction or friction is important. The rubber must hit the road. If it does not, it just spins on the ice. And you're moving but going nowhere. But being deliberate, the rubber hits the road and you get to your destination. So you see, today, don't be afraid of making a decision. Why should you be? No one is making the decision for you, so you actually have nothing to fear. If you sit there and you make that decision, you think about it, you consider it, you plan it, you become clear. If you do that, it removes fear. Why does it remove fear? Because every cause has its effect. And if you know the cause, you can predict the effect, so you know the outcome. You see, we only become afraid when we're unsure. Well, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if it's possible. Well, then a level of fear steps in. And fear, hmm, a weed that chokes life from plants, that's fear. When you fear the unknown. But with the law, there are no unknowns. Not when it comes to you creating something. If you behave this way, well, then you can predict the outcome. So you see, being deliberate not only allows you to be courageous, it also eliminates fear and worry because you can clearly see the path. You can clearly see the path. So then, look at that peace of mind, and you follow the path. If something arises, like you meet somebody along the way, you know how to act, you know how to behave, you know exactly how to interact with that person based upon, is this person going to take you away from or follow you towards? So if you're going towards your goal, you say, hey, and keep it moving. But if that person is walking in the opposite direction and engages you and tries to pull you away from, well, then you clearly know what to do because you have a destination in mind. You see, also, when you have a clear destination in mind, when you are deliberate, you are less likely to be drawn off course, less likely to be drawn off course. So long as you have a destination, you have a plan, you have a goal in mind. This is where I'm going. And if one route is closed, because you have that destination, you know when another route opens up, or route for my American friends, if that opens up, you know what to do because it will take you. As my father always says, all roads lead to home. Destination. So long as you're going home, all roads will take you there. The destination. Be deliberate. Let's take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space. Twitter. Oh, Jeff is here, and Meep. Hello. I see you. I trust your weekend was spectacular. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Fanbase. Amor. David, Just T, I see you. And DB Morgan, I see you. Miss McQueen, Summer Rose, KZ, Smokin'. Yolanda, Zola, I see you. Welcome to the space. Thank you for the love and your time and your attention. Thank you for being here, fanbase. It is appreciated. And of course, to my beautiful moderators, thank you for helping out in the space. Hey, let's see who's here. YouTube and Facebook. Empress Ella. Andrea Stevenson. The name sounds familiar, darling. Andrea Stevenson, welcome. Luvozio Vivo, hey, I see you. Well, thank you for jumping into the video. Cyber, I see you. Hello, David. Anot, the better man. Sonia. Anot. Dawn Emanon, I see you. I see you. And the better man says he's practicing slowing down and being in the moment. Shea Butter, I see you. I know Indy is over on Facebook. And for all the others who have not made themselves known, I see you. And for the replay gang, you know I see you also. Listen, taking that time and slowing down and being in the moment is part of being deliberate. When you are deliberate, you conserve your energy, your mental energy. You notice something when you do a lot of thinking, you got to eat a lot. Glucose. That's the only food the brain can partake in. So everything you eat becomes glucose. Some things become glucose faster than others. But the end result is always to feed the brain. It has many functions to perform. Many functions. So the body must be fed, because if the body is not fed, how can the consciousness or the awareness or your spirit, you, within that body, do anything? You're bound to this body for now. So feed it, move it, be kind to it. It's like getting regular oil changes in your car. Don't wait till you pull up to get an oil change and they look at the dipstick and go, "How did you make it? Good God." Don't do that. You run the risk of ruining the engine. Same with your body. Where do you think the car was modeled after? Oh, the body? Indeed. So take care of your body. Move your body. Shake that body for me, right? Move your body. You see, because when you begin to move the body, when you move your body, something happens in your mind. You begin to discipline the body. You're telling it deliberately how you want it to behave. That's what you're doing. And you don't have to punish the body. Heavens no. Be kind to it, and it will be kind in turn to you by allowing you to climb the stairs with ease, by allowing you to get up off the couch with no problems, allowing you to dance, if you will, right? If you will. What does that mean? If you intend to dance, then your body will comply and move with ease like a well-oiled machine. No creaking at the knees. You see, deliberately live your life. Deliberately live your life. Andrea says, I'm always watching your videos. Oh, I trust you're practicing, Andrea. That's the most important part. Practice. Be deliberately about it. About what? Your life. Many times I see this question. Oh, alas, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life? To live. To live. The purpose of life is to live. Now, how do you deliberately want to live? That is up to you. We keep looking to the outside for the purpose to be given. And it's not given. You choose it deliberately. That's another day. That's another live stream. But be deliberate about your life, about the choices you make. Don't just make choices because you have to, but be deliberate about it. Why am I in this job? Why do I do this? Ask those questions. Ask them, especially if the question, why am I always doing that? If that comes up, come now, pay attention to it. Don't just run about willy-nilly. Be deliberate. Being deliberate brings order to your life. And as I've said before, there's a giant gavel. Order, order, because it's the law, right? Be deliberate and bring order into your life. You will have peace of mind when you do this. You will eliminate and banish worry and fretting because you will see that it is costly. when you fret. Oh, my grandmother was great at fretting and worrying. Oh, I learned from the best. But I had to be deliberate to learn a new way. Worry and fretting is like spinning the tires on the ice, doing a whole lot of nothing, but you are burning your fuel, aren't you? Don't live your life like that. It is exhausting. Take a moment and sit and think about what is it that I would prefer to experience. And trusty polarity. Oh, where are you now? Oh, what are you doing? And you begin to answer the question, well, I am here and I am doing these things, and you list them off. And then polarity, in all of its graciousness, says, where would you like to be? And what would you like to be doing? And you write that down based upon what? Where you are. If you cannot see where you are, if you're not willing to admit where you are, honesty with self is part of order. Honesty with yourself is part of order. As my grandfather said, you can lie to anybody else. Can't lie to you, though. Can't lie to yourself. Well, we try, don't we? We try to lie to ourselves. Oh, we're good. We try to convince ourselves. But be deliberate with yourself instead of lying to yourself. And you notice the truth. I know people say, oh, the truth will make you angry. It brings you peace, yeah? The truth will bring you peace. Because when you see how it is working, then you behave accordingly. I want you to ponder that for a moment. What we perceive to be the truth, we act upon it because you believe it. But better yet, you see, to believe is I say something and you take my word for it. That is to believe something. But to know a thing, how do you know what you know? What you know? Because you've done it, you have experienced it. When you see the law at work in your life, you don't need to believe it. You don't believe that when you plant your garden it grows. You know that when you plant it grows. Those are two separate things. This is why, if you know a thing, you can be deliberate. But you see, this is how we live our lives. We live our lives based upon what we know, those memories, those things we have. This is why it is helpful to question. Because if you know a thing, but that thing is false, you will live by way of the falsehood. The design is to live by way of what we know. That's why it's called a belief system. You don't actually believe it, you know it based upon your experience. So, for instance, if you've always had the pat on the back to hear, what a good baby you are, such a beautiful child, and you're funny and witty, you'll go far in this world. You've got so much to offer. If you heard that, at first you believed it because you trusted your caregiver. But then, as within, so without. The evidence of what you believed showed itself. Life appeared to be easy for you. You could go anywhere, talk to anybody, do anything. So it started out as a belief, but because you had the experience of the law of correspondence, as within, so without, then you knew. Then you knew. But now, if you heard, oh, you're not going to amount to anything. You'll just be blah. Nobody cares about you. You're dumb. You're ugly. Now you heard that. Same caregiver. You trusted them. So you took their word for it. You believed it. But then the law of correspondence does not care. Good, bad, or indifferent. Whatever is on the inside, you must experience on the outside. So then you experience the ill treatment. Ah, you'll never go anywhere in life. Thus, you didn't. Everything you tried failed. You never finished anything you started because you didn't feel like you were good enough because you believed. But not only did you believe, you saw the evidence of your belief. Thereby, you came to know it. So now you live from what you know. So if you go through your life living from what you know, you better question what you know. You must question what you know. If it adds to your life, you will always know the evidence. Look at the evidence and it'll tell you what you need to know. So if you're going through life and you're, woe is me, alas and alack, something needs to be changed. Something must be changed because you are currently living from what you know. But if you are going through life and everything is, well, this is lovely, I like this, well, you keep it. But if you come across something that stubs your toe, you're like, oh, I don't like that. Why is it there? Because you know. You saw the evidence of it and did not change it because you could not change it at the time. As I said before, small children don't have discernment, so they just soak up the information and they believe what you tell them. But that is the design because you live from what it was you believed. Thereby, you got to know it. So now you understand why one must be deliberate. If you keep walking through life living from a particular thing, well, you're not being deliberate about it, you're being on autopilot. So it keeps happening and it keeps happening and it keeps happening. And you keep saying, I wish things would change. You must first discover that hidden culprit. The minute you say, I wish things would change, you've just turned the light on it. You've just shed light upon your situation. Now, and this is why polarity is such a beautiful thing, because it clearly says to you, where are you? And what are you doing right now? So if you say, well, I'm here and I'm doing this right now and I don't like it, polarity says, well, where do you want to be and what do you want to do? Well, I want to be there and I want to do those actions. Because it is the present actions that you will draw from to show you what you want to do. I don't want to be late anymore. So what do you want? You want to be on time. I don't want to be broke anymore. You want to be rich. I don't want to be at the bottom anymore. I want to be at the top. What actions must you do to accomplish it? And that is how you become deliberate by thinking about the thing, following through with the steps. They are deliberate. You have everything. And this is why, Andrea, I'm glad you said you're practicing. Hallelujah. I'm glad you're practicing. And here's the beauty of being deliberate. Because remember, cause and effect. The effect is the thing you're going to see. If you look at the effect and you say, oh, but I wanted something different. You don't beat yourself up because you got B instead of A. You look and you realize, oh snap, I'm still doing A. That's why I got A. Let me be more deliberate about the actions that I take. This is what you do. You watch yourself so you can see if the thought and the actions match. So we can stop saying things like, I got the opposite of what I wanted. No, you cannot get the opposite. As within, so without. The law will never contradict itself because it cannot. It is order, not chaos. So you didn't get the opposite. You got exactly what was on the inside. So you don't beat yourself up about what's inside. You look at it and you say, I see how to correct myself. And you begin to correct yourself and you stay faithful in the correction. There's a scripture, my mother always says it. Whom the Lord loves, he corrects. But you see, they use that word correct as in punishment. That's what they think it is. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Ask the question, Cyber. You can either ask it here or you can ask it in private, whichever suits you. And as long as I apply the law, I'm sure the answer will come. But does that make sense? The reason why you are looking at the effects in your life is to confirm if you are being deliberate about what you say. This is why you look. You don't look out there to judge and go, I'm like the worst kind of ever. I never get what I want. No, that's not what we do. We don't cry in our milk, y'all. We churn and make butter with that bad boy. That's what we do is spill. Churn it. This is what we do. And how do you do that? Look at it. Ah, that is undesirable, that effect. Then change the cause. Because every cause has its effect. And when you know the cause, you can predict the effect. Cyber. The dopamine from the scene makes me feel like I've already achieved my goal, and that takes away my drive and hunger, the opposite of what it should be doing. But here's the thing. The reason why that happens, when you know a thing, you know it, don't you? When you know it, you know it. So then it's not, I wonder what's going to happen, right? When you have accomplished something, here's a word, climax. Once you have accomplished the climax, can you do it again? You may need 20 minutes. Why? Because you've got to build up to it again. But once you have, which means what? When you have accomplished the goal, the drive and the desire has to go away. Because drive and hunger and desire is the build up to a climax. That's part one. Cyber, I hope that makes sense. A slight resentment is growing. Ah, put the resentment in its place. Could the urge to put the law on the back burner be part of a bridge? I'm suddenly taking action instead of just sitting around and imagining. Ah, you see, this is the part that a lot of people in the manifestation community get stuck on. They sit and they imagine, right? They sit and they imagine. You are not imagining from a place of being idle. You are creating. The whole point of you to sit there and imagine. I saw this opera singer. Her name is Pretty. And she is. And good God, the notes that come out of her. This story has a point. She was in this yellow dress. And she told you who the designer was. And then all of a sudden onto the screen pops the drawing of the dress. The designer, she was his muse. She sang and he thought, wow, she's so vibrant. And what did he do? Because her skin is dark, yes? He wanted to, when you saw her on stage or anywhere, he wanted to capture your eye and your attention, not only with the color. It was yellow. Yellow is the color of the will. Yours. It's the color of the will, yeah? He wanted that when you saw this singer, she would catch your attention. So when he heard her and he saw her face, automatically an image was conjured in his mind of the dress. He sketched it and he drew it. You see, the desire, he was imagining. What was he doing in that imagination? He was creating a dress for this woman, this opera singer, for Pretty. Her name really is Pretty. Pretty, that's her name. He saw in his mind, he imagined what she would look like in this yellow. The way the collar the way the bust would hug her hips. He saw it all. How do you know he saw it? The drawing, the sketch he had. So he didn't just sit there idly and say, I really would love this dress on her. No, he drew that dress from his mind. And when she walked upon the stage or the red carpet, the climax was reached. He did not need to create it anymore. He brought it to life. So you see, the law, when you're using the law, it is not back burner lifestyle. You are imagining because you are creating the thing in your imagination that you are going to copy and bring out into the world. This is why I love you, Miss McQueen. I mean, I love you all, but Miss McQueen designs. It starts in her mind. She sees the image. She'll go somewhere, have a particular smell or a particular color or taste, and it evokes an image in her mind, and she has to create it. And when the creation is finished and it goes to market, the climax has been reached. She no longer needs to have that push and that drive to bring that design about. She brought it about. It is done. She is holding it in her hand. The manifestation. So your imaginings are what you are creating in the world. Not to be confused with a daydream. Just, hey, you're just willy-nilly. There's no being deliberate. Your imaginings should be deliberate activities. Why? Because just like that dress, good God, when you saw the sketch, you're like, it's on the page. But when she wore that dress, here's the phrase that popped out of my mouth when I saw it. She brought it to life. On the page, it was just animated. But because now she's wearing it, it has life. Oh, but the dress gave her life too. Don't get that twisted. The yellow. You couldn't help but look at her. You wanted to be a bee and buzz around the beautiful flower. And then she smiled. Good God, she did become a pretty flower. So you see, your imaginings are not idle things. You are molding and shaping your world with your imagination. Cyber, does that answer your question? Please explain what the word correction means in the scripture. You see, correction has been misinterpreted in scripture. They use the term correction as a way of, I'm going to hit you upside the back of your head if you do something wrong. That's what they mean correction as. That's what it's been misinterpreted as. But to correct means to show the right way. What if you beat me because I made a mistake? How are you showing me the right way? Show me the right way and I learn. Beat me and I'm confused and angry. Discipline is what? Same as correction. To teach. To correct is to teach the right way of doing something. But you see, the God in the Bible, somewhat of a tyrant, he would destroy you. But people want to say, oh, well, that was the Old Testament. Well, it also says God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So a tyrant there, a tyrant here. This is why, if we comprehend what those words mean, especially if you've had to do them, you don't beat a child. Good God. Of course, society will tell you if you don't beat the child, look at how they turn out. No, they were not taught. This is why they do what they do, because they weren't taught the right way. Remember, children learn by observation. So how you behave, that's how they'll behave. So if you're behaving and acting a fool, this is what the child will do. They mirror. Yes? So correction has been misinterpreted. In the Bible, we've misinterpreted it as meaning punishment, whereas the true meaning of correction is to teach the right way. Remember cause and effect. If you've done A, but you want them to do B, you cannot beat them. You have to show them what B looks like. So they do B. But if you beat them, they see neither A nor B. Cyber. Now, that is another beautiful question. You're still grasping with what causes the lack of jetting off to perform the action you've imagined. A number of reasons that will stop you. One, you may not care about it. Two, you may be tired, not just physically, mentally and emotionally. Let me explain. When you encounter someone who's had a hard life, yeah, and they say, "Ugh, I can't do one more thing. Don't tell me to get up and practice. I cannot because I do not have the strength to do it. I see where I want to be, but I just don't have it in me." Tired. Now you have to decipher which kind of tired they are. Listen, when you've allowed yourself to be beat down by life because we didn't know any better back in the day, yes? When you've allowed yourself to be beat down by life, that's a hard place to get up from sometimes because you just don't have the fight in you anymore. You don't have the will. You don't have the intention of doing anything anymore because you can't. But that requires you to take the time now to recover. How do you recover from that kind of exhaustion? Sometimes I really think an intervention is required. I heard that from a beautiful friend. And sometimes an intervention is required. But you see, the intervention will come because of you. You put the call out for aid, and it shows up, right? So it's not that you don't want to take action. The question becomes what's causing you to not take action? What is it that you feel? What are you struggling with taking the action? Are you tired? Is it just, you know what? Pfft, I don't care anymore. I've tried too long to accomplish that. Cyber says, it's as if I'm already chilling on the beach rather than earning the money to pay for the vacation. I hear that. I hear that. You see, sometimes we think things because this is what we've been conditioned to believe. This is why I mentioned earlier up this morning chasing the bag. Because we think it is the bag that will bring the thing. When in actuality, you can create the feeling inside of you of actually having the bag. And once you create that feeling inside of you, you've reached the climax. Cyber. So you don't want to chase it anymore. You're realizing that it is the chase that is tiring also. So the opportunities now are going to come along for that money to be there. The opportunities will come along for the money to be there. But you're in a place where you notice now that I can already get there without the money? Yes. This is why Neville tells you to behave as if you already have it. You can work yourself up to that climax all mentally. You can work yourself up to it mentally. And once you've done it mentally, that part right there, doing it mentally, is where it always has to happen. So you've got the peace on the inside. Then you must encounter that holiday on the outside. You just will. It's what people call cyber letting go. It's just that you've already reached there in your mind. You've already reached there in your mind. You're no longer chasing it because you actually realize the chase is futile. You chase, you keep chasing, but come to the understanding in yourself that see this sensation of relaxation, this ease, this peace of mind, I already have it. Will the vacation bring peace of mind, or do you already have peace of mind? Does that help with a little bit more clarity, Cyber? Let me know. But I trust these things make sense today. You're welcome, Andrea. Oh, Emanon, let me read what you said here. So much new research in your journey has me realizing the disconnect or misconception of books. Oh, it's gone. Wait, come back. Like the Bible, words used meaning different than intended, others not being used. Yes, a word makes a big difference. You remove a word, and you're like, oh, what does that mean? You get confusion. You add a word, and you're like, oh, well, that still doesn't make any sense. Or it is not clear. It's vague in its meaning. And this happens more when you have to translate from one language to the next. Ah. Maybe some guilt for not being in that striving towards grind mindset. I want to say it again. You see, we have been taught chase, go get, go get, go get, do it, do it, do it, do it. To what end? Like a squirrel in the wheel, always running but going nowhere. When you begin to see that you can have it all mentally, you will see the trap of the grind. You will see the trap of the chase. Mm, just so you know. But yes, Emanon, these words and their interpretation, like I watch these people like Billy Carson and um Paul Wallace, they do, and Mauro Beligno, oh, he's Italian. So he does translations from Hebrew, Greek to English. He does the literal translations. And so when they do their translations and they take the common conception that some of these scriptures in the Bibles have, they're like, but that's wrong based upon the translation, based upon what that root word means. Resident etymologists. Hmm? Based upon what that word, the etymology of that word, it cannot mean what it has been translated to mean. The meaning is different. So you see, just like that scripture, who the Lord loves, he corrects, he punishes. Now we're here sitting thinking, but now look back again. Look back again in the scripture, and it will tell you, slaves, obey your masters. Slaves, you can expect a beating from your master. Do you see what's happening? And we pick up these meanings and we run with them. And we use them to our own benefit instead of what they're actually meant to be used for. This is why when you hear, oh, you're supposed to discipline your children. Yes, you're supposed to teach them the way to be. So if they are not being a particular way, show them the way. How will beating them show them? It does not show them the way. But then you hear, well, I got a beating and nothing ever happened to me. Look how good I turned out. You see how we perpetuate generational things, all from a particular scripture, because we did not sit down and become deliberate about asking questions. Well, why would you ask a question when the scripture tells you don't question God? Oh, oh my son. No, let me tell you, he is something else. When Grandpa told that to him, oh, don't question God. And Noah says, but how am I supposed to learn if I don't ask questions? And Dad looked at me. He goes, "Oh, you got him like this." And I was like what? He's supposed to ask questions. This is how people can abscond with their children when we don't allow them to ask questions. You must be deliberate. If you see something, ask a question. Mm, being deliberate is key. Like I said, that was part of my report card. Ask too many questions because I always wanted to know. I wanted to know. I wanted to understand. Ah, okay. Sorry, I was just reading. Yes, here's the question. Listen to this word, Andrea, and then I'll explain. Persistence. Huh? You're a little confused with cause and effect. I'm a flight attendant at one airline. I wanted to switch to another airline. I walked around throughout the day telling myself that I'm a flight attendant for this main airline. I just received the email that I wasn't chosen to go forward. The thought didn't match the effect. I really don't know why. So you are going to throw in the towel after the first one? You cannot. You see, when you know a thing about yourself, right? You know a thing about yourself. You know what you want, then it is yours. Anything can happen in this space, right? The space from where you are to where you want to be. You are already doing the actions of the flight attendant because that is what you are. So if you say, I want this new one, you don't want it and wait for somebody to give it to you. You have created it for yourself. You have carved that new airline out for yourself because it is already there. You've carved that out for yourself. Then rest in that knowing that it is yours. You're not waiting for somebody. I'm reading your note here. You received the email that you were not chosen. You see the difference? You want it. So, because you want it, you think somebody can deny it. When you create it, you deny yourself. That's where the power lies. You can deny yourself because you are the creator, or you can what? Excel. You can give it to yourself or you can deny yourself. Only that power lies with you. So, wanting it, you got to look at wanting as what do I want to create? The effect that you want is to be that flight attendant for the new airline. Then it is yours. You have that desire. You're very clear about that desire. You're very clear about it. So, you've created it. The minute you could say, I am a flight attendant for this airline, well, you've created it. Allow it to come forth. You're not waiting for somebody to deny you or accept you. You are waiting for the thing to materialize. You've planted the seed. Allow it to take root now. It appears as if you were rejected. It only appears that way. So do not allow yourself to fall into a state of desperation. Oh, I must have it. You have created it, so it is already yours. Desperation is a hell of a vibration. It is a hell of a vibration. So you're not desperate. Just like the designer who sketched that dress, you sketched your new role. Then allow it to materialize. Allow it to materialize. Does that make sense, Andrea? Let me know. So I trust it makes sense to you today. So if you catch yourself being desperate, right, Andrea? Because we all, every single one of us, have moments of desperation. Why is it not happening? It's not happening fast enough. We get those moments. But if you can remember the reason why you have an imagination, see that word? worked back then for the time that he was in. Hmm. But it may need a change. You are the one creating the thing you want to experience. If you watch anybody who does clay work, they're molding and shaping that clay as it spins to match what? The image in their head. They're not waiting to be approved. So you are the potter. You've got the wheel. You are pressing the pedal and turning the clay and shaping it and molding it to the experience that you want. This is why you must have a clear image. This is why you must be deliberate about that image that you want to accomplish. How else can you recreate it if you don't have it in your mind? A clear image. You can't recreate from nothing. You need that image. You need clarity. You need to know what you want. That is the hardest part. You ever ask somebody, hey, what do you want? I don't know. Can't help you if you don't know. You must know what it is that you want. And the minute that you know what you want, then it is possible. Why is it possible? What makes it possible? The fact that you know what it is. If you know what it is, you can recreate it. If you do not know what it is, how can you possibly recreate it? But if you know what you want, it is possible to create it. You are the one molding and shaping your life by stepping on that pedal. But you have to have some image to recreate, or else you're just spinning the pedal and the clay is just flopping around. Give it form. Mhm. How do you give it form? You need to have the form within you so you can recreate the form on the outside. So perhaps now, when you want to create something in your life, a new effect, a new experience, imagine yourself sitting at the potter's wheel. Imagine yourself sitting at the potter's wheel. You step on the pedal. You dip your hand in the water and you're going to shape the clay. What are you going to shape the clay into? And you already know, if you don't know what you want to shape it into, so that means your thoughts must be deliberate. And when the thought is deliberate, we must remember, because you are the potter and the clay, you are either accepting or you are denying. Only yourself. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't get that raise. And we become dejected. What experience are you creating? Do not lose your vision. Oh, but you didn't get this. Oh, you didn't get that. Are you the creator of your experience, or are you not? Are you the one taking action, or are you not? You see, sometimes we go out into the world and we want to use force to bring about something. The level of force will determine the outcome. How so? The pendulum swings, rhythm compensates. So, how hard you push, this is why desperation is a problem. It causes you to push too hard. When in actuality, what is required is a little bit of stillness. Okay, let me go back to the drawing board here. How am I going to shape it now? How am I going to reshape this? When you go back to the drawing board, it does not mean you are a failure. It means you are looking at the effect and you're saying, okay, that was not the effect I wanted. So what do I need to mold and shape here within me? Is it an attitude? Is it the way I see things? That is what you mold and shape. You're the clay. You're not molding and shaping because you were rejected because you're bad or you're not good enough. You're looking at the effect and you're saying, that didn't quite measure up. Let me shape it. Let me shape it a little bit more. Let me shape it a little bit better. What are you shaping? You. You. That's who you're shaping. So, Andrea, in the meantime, pay attention to what's going on around you and allow your intuition to guide you so you know when to act. You might hear something, you might see something, somebody might call your name. You don't know because we don't see those roots as they burrow downward. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Normally, we would pop over to YouTube and, get the last remnants of gravy from the bowl, but the gravy is gone. We got it all today. Right? So, Twitter, oh, that honest guy, oh, no, that one's guy. I think that's how I say it, right? That one's guy. And then Jeff and Muck45 and Meep. Thank you all for being here today. I appreciate you very, very much. Um, that one, slide into my DMs and let me know what's up. Thank you all for being here on Twitter. You know I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for being here and showing me some love and appreciation today. You know where you can find me? YouTube? Yeah? I will see you soon. Yes? Much love to you all. Yes. Yeah, slide into my DMs and let me know what's up, that. Hmm? Much love to you. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, thank you all again for such a beautiful morning, for the love, for being here with your time. Shaquana, Just T, Amor, Flo Smiles, KZ, Smoking. You know, smoking, that's one of my dad's favorite lines from The Mask. He goes, Smoking. Somebody stop me. My dad always does that.
No, I love when you do it. I look forward to hearing it.
Oh, no, no worries. So that's why I love doing it because, yeah. Hey, we live from memories. Miss McQueen. Summer Rose. Summer Rose, my bestie said to me a couple of days ago, she says, she was just walking around singing Summer Rose. And I'm like, just so you know, Yolanda, I see you. And Zola, thank you all for being here on such a lovely day. And you know where to find me. I didn't even give you all the countdown. 5. No, we got to do it right because you know me. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3. You know where to find me tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Lance. We have a Bible story seen through the eyes of the law. We are talking about Laban and he's seeing spots. Hello. You know that story with Laban? Yes, you do. If you grew up in church, you know it. That's what we're talking about tonight. Where's the law there? I still haven't figured out how to link mine to his so you can follow that link. But I'm working on it. I know the answer will present itself and I'll figure it out. Right? That's where we are tonight and tomorrow night. We do it on Fanbase too, you know. We hit the bowl, the Tibetan bowl, and we allow the sound to get us into a particular sensation in our bodies. So we learn to command our sensations at will. That's what we learn how to do. It is always going to be your deliberate will. I love you, fan base. I love you. Fan base is closed. So YouTube, it's just us. So hey Zola. So remember to think about or discuss issues and decisions carefully. To think about with formal discussion before reaching a decision, characterized by or resulting from careful and thorough consideration, is to be deliberate. Be deliberate. Be deliberate. Be deliberate. There's chant like that already. I just put the word deliberate in it instead. Right? These are the things that we do. You must be deliberate. Right? That's all there is. You have to take ownership of that. It is you. We do not put our. You see, we think it is easier. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you why I say that. Somebody did this this post in a forum, and they said they wish they didn't have free will. And I thought to myself, now there's a thing that was just said and no thought given. I want you to imagine a life without the ability to say no, without the ability to say yes. But you only have one option, and that is compliance. Hmm? Free will, the ability to have your own intentions, the ability to have your own thoughts. Can you imagine a life without being able to do that? It wouldn't be a life, would it? Hmm. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You must be deliberate. Have your own intentions. It is a beautiful thing when you think of it. You know, it is just a beautiful thing. It really, truly is. I want you to see it for yourself. Experience it for yourself. I got the power. You have the power to give yourself something. It is only because you don't believe that you have that. Because why do you not believe it? Why do we walk around with that thought that somebody has the power to deny me? If you're playing the hockey game and he takes a shoot at the net and the puck doesn't go in, the commentator goes, denied, right? Nobody has that power, but you believe that they do. I still believe that they do. Why? 46 years of 29 and holding, um, of being told you have to look outside for validation, and then seeing the effects of that to confirm it. That's what we've been told. You must look outside for your validation. You must look outside for your savior. But if you're hungry, what do? You eat. Was food not your savior? There's no more, please, sir, may I have some more? There is not that anymore. But the reason why we think we can be denied, don't take it someplace it's not meant to be, yeah? I am talking about things. Always remember, right, Cyber? But that's my point. You see it? Now, Noah and I were talking about this, and he was saying to me, but mom, they're using the law. Do they not care about the repercussions of that cause and effect? Of course, I said, well, they're using the law unwittingly. You see, for as old as they are, the Elohim, for as old as they are, and more advanced as they are, when the eye is blind, what would blind the eye? What would blind the eye? Think about that for a moment. They have free will too. They've exercised their intent. They've exercised their intent. Oh, yes, they have. But because they have convinced us that we have to follow their intent, everything has been designed to blind our eye, and all that we are left to see is them. But if you want to know about the offspring, look to the parents. Oh, oh, indeed. Look to the parents. So if you look to them and you see how violent they were and still are, is it a wonder why we are? But here's the beautiful thing. Here's the beautiful thing. Cyber, I know you said Elohim and you, but I had to go in this direction for a minute so that we can understand why we believe what we believe. We were told over and over and over and over and over again since our inception. We were told, you are no one. You belong to me. Do as I say or else. That's what we were told. I tell you what to do. You don't think for yourself. That's what we were told. And so we believed it. But I said to my son, even though they may be violent, because I'm going to use the law deliberately and consciously, I no longer need to follow what? I don't need to follow blindly. The law opens your eyes. And so I know a lot of people spend time doing this kind of research and trying to get a sense of where humanity came from. That is all fine and good. That's their role. They have to do that. It's not that I don't care where we came from. I'm here now and I know the law. So I'll use the law to get the best out of what's here right now because I can't speculate about what's to come or what has gone by. I can't. Now, right here, right now. So if we apply the law and we recognize, because we're going to have to break that barrier, yes, we're going to have to break that thing that says we can be denied. You have to break that. The same way they had the intent to create, we have the same thing. So we have to use it and know that we are the only ones who can deny ourselves. They didn't doubt. They tinkered with us and tinkered with us and tinkered with us till they got what they wanted. They got the desired effect. You understand? They did not give up. Oh, they may wipe the slate clean a few times. But I know it seems like I'm totally nuts right now, but I'm not. I'm just saying. Cyber brought this out of me right now when he mentioned the word Elohim. You may as well have said Anunnaki. But, you know, this is why sometimes when we read the scripture and we see the behavior of God, quote unquote, God, little g in the Bible, and he was mean and abusive and just that fear that we live with, that fear of eternal damnation that was put into us, the law sets you free from that. Oh, it surely does. And that's why I make it a point to teach these Bible stories by way of law. See the law Act according to law, live according to law, and you will change your life. But for the love of God and all things, be persistent. You do not give up. Don't. We don't give up. We go back to the drawing board and we say, okay, I wasn't quite fond of that creation. Let me recreate it. Hmm. So yeah, Cyber. Cyber's probably giving me the side eye right now. Listen, I love you all. Begin to live deliberately. This is why I told you on Friday or Thursday to plan your day. That is deliberate. Yesterday, I knew I wanted to bake. And my son told me what to bake. He goes, Mom, your buns were nice, but I want some sliced bread. And I was like, done. So I made sliced bread, 2 loaves. I made soup because it was rainy and cold. And then I made strawberry jam because he likes PB&J, but he hates having to pick out the chunks of strawberry in the jam. So I found strawberries on sale, and I said, fine, I will make you some strawberry jam, and I will remove the strawberries. And then I said, but I want caramels for myself. So I'm not pleased with how the caramels turned out per se. So I will have to try it again. But they're still nice, right? Um, but that was my intention yesterday, to just do something. And I knew what I wanted to do. Ah, Anot, I like that. No tapping out, but of course, set your mind right. You won't have to tap out. Readjust, but don't tap out. I love it, Anot. It is beautiful. Ah, I'm going to let Cyber answer that one. Singular minds, because he may have a different definition from me. But Cyber, go ahead, answer that one. Oh, he also said something else in there. I heard a theory the other day that Old Testament God was Satan and the serpent was God. Look at the evidence, right? And you will see why that is correct. Why what you're saying is correct. Because God is all seeing. So how were Adam and Eve able to hide? Yeah, Cyber. You see, critical thinking, looking at the evidence. Look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. How can you hide from someone or something who's all seeing? I was watching Lord of the Rings, and the eye, he knew where that ring was. All the time, he knew where that ring was because he was all seeing. Right? And so, if you look at the serpent again, you see, the serpent said what? Well, if you eat from it, you'll be like God, having the ability to see good and evil. You will have knowledge. You'll have knowledge. What does the Bible also say about knowledge? Without knowledge, my people perish. But here she is being given the opportunity to have knowledge so that she could what? Live and not perish. But that's a bad thing. You see, Cyber, this is why I love you. Without knowledge, my people perish. That's in the New Testament, right? Find it for me, Cyber. You know, oh, man, don't worry, Cyber. I hear him just commanding you to do things. When I'm right here by the internet, I can do it. Without knowledge, my people perish. It is in Hosea, I believe. Hosea 4, verse 6. I want to read it in the which version? The King James. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. My people are being destroyed for lack of knowledge. Oh, cyber, Lord have mercy. Don't. Ah, I'm gonna get there. Listen, y'all, if you gotta go, you gotta go, right? I understand because my phone call is coming in the next 15 minutes, so I got 15 minutes to tell you what I need to tell you. Go back, Hosea verse 4. No, verse 4. Blah, Hosea 4 verse 6 says, "My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge." But that's what they read in Hosea. But in the Garden of Eden in Genesis, she is condemned for eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge. So how you gonna be the God to say my people perish for lack of knowledge, but yet you want to withhold knowledge from them? Call it what you will, but I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's a contradiction. Oh. Sounds chaotic to me. Does not sound like the all. I want you to ponder that. But yet, we are now talking about, oh, Eve brought about the downfall of man. No, it was the lack of knowledge that brought about the downfall of man, not Eve. But the woman has been demonized. Hmm, that's another day. Um, Eminon, yes, all is mind, right? Cyber, they believe they are. Oh, you see, this is the part about that. Listen, I have been banned for a lifetime from a number of groups on Reddit regarding Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy. Oh yes, I've been banned. Shh. When I got that email, I was crushed. Actually, I said, "What do you mean? I'm banned?" But I digress. And yes, you're saying because they believe they're God and the world revolves around them. Everyone else are just figments of their imagination. Yes. And you see, that is dangerous, especially the specific person crowd. They say, I got him to do what I want. And I sat there and I said, y'all are distorting Neville Goddard. But this is also because there's nothing wrong with what Neville taught or how he taught it. It was for his time where he was. It was appropriate for them. But you see, this crowd of people who thinks that they can bend someone to their will are in for a very harsh awakening. Because this is why I tell you, Cyber, they chase, chase, chase. And all they are ever consumed with is, I must have this person. I'm like, dude, did you ever stop to imagine or understand why you want that person? You must want that person because of who you are, not because of them, but it's because of who you are. Who are you? I just heard something ring and I don't know where. It wasn't a phone. Does that make sense? Oh, I must have a text from this person. Somebody actually posted yesterday, um, how do you cause someone to break up in their current relationship? Of course, my eye twitched and I said, but why? I responded to that question. So why would you want that? I said, they're in a relationship because of their perceptions. Perhaps their perception is they're happy where they are. Allow them to be who they are. Allow you to be who you are. That's what I said. You don't go out there and you see, cyber, when people go out there and bend people to their will. But you know, we are a reflection of the society that we're in. They are people who are trying to bend us to their will. So it is not a surprise that that's the mentality they would take on. At no point do they consider, because this all that question came out of the group also on Reddit, where that person was asking, they want to be like that particular athlete and play that sport, but what should they do? And I'm like, what kind of question is this? What do you mean? What should you do? It has been twisted in such a way that, oh boy, it really has been twisted in such a way that no one is taking accountability for themselves and how they are. They just want the world to be what they want the world to be without knowing that the world bends and shapes itself according to who they are. As within, so without. This is why it is critical that one knows the law. And that's why I say, for Neville's time, what he taught was appropriate. But you see, this time that we're in, a new lesson. It's the same lesson, really, but in a new way needs to be taught. The law. You cannot go out there and beat people into submission to be who and what you want them to be. Because you will be beat down and bent into submission for what somebody else wants you to be. It is law. The pendulum must swing. You must be compensated. Right? So, yes, they walk around. And that's why I say, listen, you can be the God, the little God of your universe. You sure can be. Because it's your world. You can be the little g, but you're not the all. Let's not get that twisted. There is an all. Those laws come from the all. And when you know the laws, you begin to get a glimpse of the personality, because you'll know a man by his habits, right? When you see the laws, you begin to get a glimpse of the personality, but the all doesn't have a personality because the all is not a person. It's not a thing either. The all is mind, consciousness. And when you see how perfect those laws are and how ordered those laws are, you sit in awe of the all. And when you sit in awe of the all, right? When you sit in awe of the all, you begin to see the beauty that there is, and you begin to live according to the law, which is the all. All, the all, it's um oops, ALL. Put it in its context. It's caps, ALL. The all is mind. The laws, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, and gender come from the all. Andrea? Yes. Everyone glorifies Neville, forgetting that it was Abdullah who taught him. Not just that Neville Goddard didn't teach the people of the Caribbean about the law. Instead, you see? Oh, this is the part that people don't know. You see, I am a Bajan, I'm a Barbadian, just like Neville Goddard. Where did I go grocery shopping? Well, where did my grandfather go grocery shopping? Goddard Supermarket. To this day, they are prominent in the Caribbean. Yes, because he used the law to do it. He really, truly did. He used the law to do it. Neville learned from Abdullah. Abdullah taught Neville the Hermetic principles. You see, nothing is wrong with what Neville taught. Nah, I ain't dogging on a brother. But the stuff that he taught is now being, just like the Bible, being twisted. It's being twisted, right? Oh, and this is why when you learn the law, you do not deviate from the law. This is also why Neville Goddard wrote the book, The Law and the Promise. But ain't nobody want the law. They just want the promise. Or you have a good life. There's nothing wrong with having a good life, but remember. And you see, this is why now, if you pay attention to what's happening in the world, the law is being used. Yes, but it's being used to make you do things. We want the promise. You want to live a good life, the house on the hill, the Bentley, the cha-ching. There's nothing wrong with that. Hear me. Listen, there's nothing wrong with it. We've just found a way to make ourselves comfortable in the matrix. Y'all got me fired up this morning. We've just found a way to make ourselves comfortable in the matrix. Hmm. But when you use the law, you understand and you see what you live in. You stop allowing yourself to be taken in by it and be deceived by it. That learn the law and live it. The law is not telling you you can't have a Rolls Royce Phantom. It's not telling you you can't have one. It tells you how to get it if you want it. But do not allow yourself to be blinded by glitz and glamour. This is why people can come along and take your money. And they don't take it, you give it. Remember that. The law opens your eyes. It takes you beyond where we are in this three-dimensional world, right? That's what it does. I trust that makes sense today. We'll have a live stream on that. Don't y'all fret. Oh, we will have a live stream on that. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Do the algorithm, allow people to come across these videos by liking them and commenting under the video once the live stream is ended, those kinds of things. So we can get that out. Ooh, I just minimized my page to go out and like the video, and there's a picture of a croissant. I have to make those. Yes, I do. Just the fact of the butter. I was introduced to the name of the Most High. You mean the All? Is that what you mean? The All? Because it encompasses all. Nothing is separate. Nothing is separate. But there are certain things we as human beings right now in this form cannot get our minds around. We can't reconcile them. Not just yet. Yeah, we'll get there though. Remember? What do you mean, Emanon? Send you some what? Elaborate so I know what you want. But yeah, you see, it's like, oh, Saber, what's that? But does that make sense this morning? I told y'all the gravy was gone, but allegedly it wasn't. I always find a way to use that word, allegedly. When Cyber mentioned Elohim, it reminded me of the name of, yes, um, the Elohim is a group. It's plural. They, them. Sorry, sorry, I couldn't help myself. It's plural. The croissant, yes. I have to figure out how to make them because I've never made croissants before. But I do know it has to do with the, oh, it's the croissant emoji. That's awesome. I see it now. Yes, because I do love to bake. Yeah. That's why if you're going to live life more abundantly, yes. But it is the law that makes one abundant. It is remember Hosea 4, verse 6. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Knowledge. So gain your knowledge. But when you apply the knowledge, it becomes wisdom. That's what I'll leave you with this morning. I don't want to overwhelm the delicate sensibilities, especially me, ooh, and delicate sensibilities. I want to go out there and see, as I sliced up the bread, and he says to me, Mom, I'm going to try that jam. And I was like, oh, okay, let me know how it works. Jam. Let me, well, it's jelly, because jam don't jiggle like that, right? It's jelly. uh, but I trust that he will enjoy it because he's so picky sometimes. But he says, Mom, this bread is so soft and tasty. I said, I know. I know. But that's what I will leave you with this morning. The croissant. When I get around to making croissants, I'll let you know. You see, do the things that you enjoy doing. Andrea, yes, let us. But think about it. If God is singular, he should have said, "Let me make God in my image." No, they said, "Let us." So who does us mean? More than one. Let us make man in our image. So who's this us? And you ask Christians that, and they're, "Wow, don't question God." Yikes! Right? Yes, I can tell you the difference between God and the all in tomorrow's stream. I sure can. The Elohim are the children, if you will, of the most. That part, Emnon, will be also in tomorrow's. Oh, there it is. I got to go, y'all. There's my call. I love you, and I will see you soon. I love you.